Our reading from Philippians describes humility, obedience, and putting away one's ego as characteristics that make one Christ-like. The verse goes on to encourage us to love one another and give up our selfish ways, to act not for our own good, but for the good of the other. Not all the works that are attributed to Paul are believed to be written by him. However, scholars agree that he was the author of this letter. When reading commentaries on this passage, it is often suggested that those preaching on this reading will have no problem finding things in our present-day churches that can be used to help people relate to Paul's exhortations. This prompted me to ask some questions about St. James. If I may, allow me to begin with a description of how I see us as a parish. Some of us have been worshiping at St. James for a few years, while others have been here for 25 years. And for some of us, that number is over 50 years. During our time on William Street, some of us have known 5 or more rectors, and some of us have only known 1. Many of us have filled various roles on committees and vestries. We have raked leaves and planted flowers, painted walls and washed windows. We have read the lectionary, distributed the Eucharist, participated in pageants, and enhanced worship with our singing. We have studied the Bible and discussed books. We have participated in formation programs and prayed the daily office. We have gathered with loved ones for baptisms, weddings, and funerals. We have enjoyed potluck dinners and epiphany parties. Some of us even celebrated our 150th anniversary as a church. We have raised funds for Country Pantry and Haiti, for natural disaster relief, and for nursery school scholarships, among countless other causes. We have united behind community projects, and we have had differences of opinions. We have joined in ecumenical worship and education, and over the course of the past 6 months, we have learned to worship via Zoom. We at St. James are in a position we have never been in. While COVID-19 has created a unique set of conditions, the truth is our current circumstance is more than just virus related. Our relationships with our past 2 rectors ended abruptly, creating a mixed array of emotions. Our current vestry is actively searching for our next priest. Perhaps this is a good time for us to think about how we can assist in that person's successful tenure with us. It might be tempting to think, look how wonderful we are, and pat ourselves on the back. To tell ourselves we are a loving, faithful parish with a rich history. To proudly proclaim to anyone who will listen that we are just terrific and we have no need to make changes. But Paul challenges us to look deeper, with honesty and humility, to claim our imperfections as well as our successes. Along with every church in New York State, St. James sits on land that was once occupied by Native peoples. Do we acknowledge that in any meaningful manner? We pride ourselves on being a welcoming congregation. I wonder, are there folks who would disagree? What does it mean to be truly hospitable? How can we invite people of every race to bless us with their fellowship? We are smaller than we used to be. Might we inquire what caused folks to leave us? We have services at 2 different times. Are there people in this congregation who have not even met each other? We once supported a refugee family in a multitude of ways. Perhaps there are needs in our community that we could be addressing. As in all healthy human organizations, we have folks with varied opinions. I wonder, do each of us feel we are valued members of this community? Is every voice heard? We are much more than the little yellow church building on William Street. We are imperfect people worshiping God, and we undoubtedly sometimes say insensitive things. Might there be apologies we should make? Might we have wrongs to atone for? Our presiding bishop, Michael Curry, likes to say, we are the Episcopal branch of the Jesus movement. Do we feel comfortable sharing our faith story with others? Indeed, our presence in this community has positively touched many, many lives in the past. Now it is time to figure out what we want the future of St. James to be. Should we strive to accept people to join us in this pilgrimage of faith no matter where they are in their journey? Do we want to be known as a place where every human is valued and respected? Should our mission be to create such an abundant, loving, and life-giving spirit that it exudes from each one of us and invites others to share their unique gifts for the betterment of this parish, the communities that surround us, and the world? I have no doubt there are other questions we should be asking collectively. But right now, I encourage each of us to look in the mirror and ask, how might I be able to share my talents, my good fortune, and my desire for a deeper faith to help build St. James into the community God desires us to be? As we prepare for our next chapter, let us heed Paul's counsel. If then there is any encouragement in Christ, any consolation from love, any sharing in the Spirit, any compassion and sympathy, be of the same mind, having the same love. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility, regard others as better than ourselves. Let each of us look not to our own interests, but to the interests of others. Let the same mind be in us that was in Christ Jesus, for it is God who is at work in us, enabling us both to will and to work for God's good pleasure. May it be so.